Pokemon is a franchise that has pretty much stuck to the same general formula for over 20 years now. They've added things here and there, but Game Freak decided to do something they've never done before. Completely changed the entire formula. Compared to by many as a bit of a mix between Breath of the Wild and Pokemon, here is my review of Pokemon Legends Arceus for the Nintendo Switch. This game takes place in the Hisui region, essentially the Sinnoh region, but way back in the past before it was called Sinnoh. Your character falls out of a space-time distortion and is taken into a nearby village. Given the task of researching all of these crazy magical monsters out in the field using a brand new invention known as a Pokeball. All of this studying eventually leading to a bunch of special Pokemon going crazy and attacking people, leading you to try to appease them with the help of the various clans in the area. I really love what this game did for lore building of the series. This is back in time when the Pokeball was first being invented. Pokemon trainers weren't even a thing at all, and Pokemon themselves were feared as dangerous and wild animals. I really like the darker tone with stories you're told as the game goes by about people literally being mauled down and killed from Pokemon attacks. It also kind of has a fantasy JRPG feel and very different than anything else in the series. When it comes to gameplay, this is a monster-catching RPG with a lot of elements of exploration, action, crafting, survival, and the list goes on. Now, first of all, this is not the Pokemon you may remember from your childhood. So much of that samey formula that never changed over the years is completely altered and mixed up. There's no online player versus player battles, only online trading. It's really meant to be more of a single player experience, which is probably why there aren't two versions of this. With main progression, you've got a hub village with a lot of NPCs for side quests, shops for inventory, training grounds for learning moves, headquarters for upgrading your rank and getting new story missions, and it's just a place you always come back to after going out into the field, whether it's to just explore and catch Pokemon or do main story content. Now, speaking of the field, this isn't a truly open world game in the sense of everything being in one overwhelmingly large map, but each of the different regions or zones you can go through are absolutely massive. You've got huge areas with Pokemon wandering around in the field and just so much for you to explore. To be honest, the way things look and play out, it feels a lot like Monster Hunter all the way down to the game's survival elements. Wild Pokemon can and will viciously attack you with the intent of making you black out, and there's also fall damage. Have your character get hurt too much and you will black out and have to be rescued. It's also got a lot of crafting elements with materials literally everywhere around the field, be it laying around or something you have to have your Pokemon get out of minerals or trees. You can craft anything from Pokeballs to potions instead of just having to buy them. Now the big change, action. There's a lot of real-time roaming around and arming yourself with Pokeballs and berries, going into a sort of third-person shooter mode for you to sneak up on and throw balls at Pokemon without having to go into combat. You can even sneak around and hide in tall grass like you're playing Horizon Zero Dawn. It's really got an immersive survival feel, especially when Pokemon spot you. You have to cycle through and manually throw a Pokemon out for combat, or those wild Pokemon will attack you with everything they have. They're not going to wait for you to slowly choose, especially if you run into one of the larger alphas. The battle system is also much more immersive. It starts right where you throw your Pokemon, no arena transition, it's all really seamless, and you have free roam during battle. You can run around your opponent, walk right in the middle of an ice beam if you so choose, and see your character freak out when a Pokemon attack goes right through them. Now, it's still turn-based, though the speed of moves does change a lot. It does seem a little bit unbalanced at times, with enemies ganging up on you or doing multiple moves before you can retaliate. Now, you occasionally get this random speed boost as well, but nowhere near as often as the AI does. The changes to attack speed also goes into the new agile and strong versions of moves. Upon mastering a certain attack, you gain different variations of it. The strong version powers it up and doubles the PP cost, while the agile version makes you a lot faster and slightly weakens it. The combat is also a lot more flexible. When something learns a new move, you don't have to overwrite and delete something else. Every Pokemon remembers every move they've ever learned, they just can't equip more than 4 at one time. And the final addition to combat are the really big, almost Soul-esque boss fights. These bosses are a mix of dodging huge attacks from giant boss Pokemon, throwing items to calm them down, and subduing them every once in a while with battles. There's a lot of specially timed dodge stuff going on here, with Pokemon Legends kind of trying to be Dark Souls, at least for a little bit. But even with all of the changes to the battle system, catching is really the focus of this game. Trainer battles happen from time to time, but researching and reporting info is really how you progress. And it's not just catching. Each Pokemon has research tasks, like catching so many, defeating so many, catching during daylight or nighttime. It's very intricate and feels like you're actually studying them instead of just catching it and having the Pokédex tell you everything and doing the work for you. And this is honestly a really fun part of the game, especially once you start getting access to the feather and wing balls that let you essentially hang back and snipe Pokemon in front of you. Now, all of this info that you get is reported to the professor. Pokemon catches get you money to spend on the move tutor in the shops, and Pokédex data ranks you up with the Survey Corps, letting you tackle new story areas and are essentially the Legends replacement for gym badges. Another really interesting change and convenience is that evolution no longer involves trading. You've got a bunch of lost satchel items spread across the maps that you can get as a part of a side quest collectathon sort of thing, and you get merit points for returning items to other players that have lost them. Merit points are used in a special shop that you can use to buy evolution items, whether it is the classic Metal Coat or Dubious Disc for Caesar or Porygon Z, or a special little link cable throwback to the old Game Boy and Game Boy Color accessories that you can literally just give to Pokemon like Graveler or Haunter to immediately level them up without the need for another player to trade with. Now, technically, you can go to the random encounter distortions that pop up in each map to have a chance of getting these evolution items as drops, but exploring and gathering all of those optional satchels is really the most consistent way you're going to do it. Speaking of exploration, there really is an overwhelming amount of stuff that you can do here. Exploring the huge maps, filling the Pokédex, side missions and requests from the NPCs, collectibles like the satchels and purple flames. And of course, that leads to this game having a lot of content and length. The main story of Pokemon Legends took me about 30 hours, give or take, and doing the post-game story content to catch legendaries and see a lot of the really more interesting story bits took me closer to around 40 hours. And that is not counting filling the Pokédex to completion to finish the final secret quest. Now let's dive into presentation. I think the game looks good, but not great. I think the characters themselves look great, though the huge open world setting may have caused the lowering of the details of everything else. Like the Gen 4 remakes, Pokemon themselves have less detail than other games, but it isn't that bad for what it is, especially considering the graphics don't really go down that much in handheld mode and it very rarely drops frames at all. Now with that out of the way, let's go into battery life. Pokemon Legends gives the original model a battery range of 2 hours and 45 up to 4 hours and 2. The Nintendo Switch Lite gets a range of 2 hours and 57 up to 4 hours and 16. The Red Boxer V2 2019 model gets a range of 5 hours and 49 up to 7 hours and 10. And the OLED model gets a range of 6 hours and 5 up to 7 hours and 28. In conclusion, Pokemon Legends has taken the series in a very different direction from what many people are accustomed to and something many people have wanted Game Freak to experiment with for a long time. Now on the downside, the battle speed system feels a little imbalanced and the visuals certainly aren't the best the Switch has ever seen. But if you love the franchise and want to see a massive adventure filled with exploration and a darker take on the series, it's a load of fun and will take dozens upon dozens of hours to master. Reviews to go rates Pokemon Legends Arceus for the Nintendo Switch an 8.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.